I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Rezero, Season 2, Episode 3. I am extremely excited and a little bit nervous. I loved Season 1 of Rezero, and Season 2 has started off on a pretty strong note. But at the end of last episode, I think things took a jump off of a diving board into territories that I didn't think we'd even step into remotely as soon as we are, and that leaves me full of joy, excitement, wonder, and inquisitiveness in terms of my future despair.
I like how you phrased that. Inquisitive, definitely. Will my stomach hurt as bad with this season as it did with Season 1?
Will it hurt more?
Will it hurt more? Only time will tell.
Echidna. That's it.
Yep.
Period. Mm-hmm. New paragraph. Garfield. Garfile.
Beware.
Beware. Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Why do I love her already?
The music's weird.
A tender young maiden. Interesting title card. Invited to my tea party. A witch's tea party. What's in the tea? The audio is so unsettling.
You came here because you wanted to.
On your own accord. Whoa. I'm gonna write these down later. I'm thinking envy. All types of knowledge. Oh. Compatible.
Didn't she say it was like a part of?
Oh?
She did say that all the other witches
killed.
are dead.
Outside the ruins. Do you think any time passes in the physical world while we're in here?
What does it mean?
A vow. The right to face the trial of the sanctuary.
Expectations.
I love her. Does he not remember it? Is that part of the vow? Bakugo? Good catch!
Is this Garfield? No! No!
Holy shit! What is that strength?
This voice actor sounds really familiar.
I think it sounds like Bakugo. Same mouth.
Oh yeah, color hair too. It's like her brother.
Look at his necklace too. Garfield. Mixed blood.
Oh.
What?
Testing ground.
Wow. I loved her composure change for Emilia. Garf.
I don't think Otto wants to go alone with him. Oh.
Good. It's crazy how Ram just can tell from Subaru's face that there's something, you know? Yes. What happened?
Prison? The witch's graveyard.
I didn't realize that, like,
he would also forget?
yeah. The not telling of people, you know?
Which we're used to that as a concept with him.
Kidness barrier. The
music is so tense. Yeah, very weird.
Are they stuck there?
Is this the trial? God, the
He was
trial,
rejected by the trial.
which Subaru is supposed to be doing.
Holy shit. It's so wild that Roswell is so injured. He doesn't have the memory that he's able to, right? He'll have to try anyways. It would mean a lot if Emilia did it, right?
Shaking.
My hands are shaking.
That you are not a witch who is beyond our
That's a
comprehension.
great line. I love the village. I love this song. Oh.
I feel emotional, but this trial, oh.
The first time ever. I never in a million years thought we'd ever hear Ram be like, "You're right."
Is
It's a
Ram's
Subaru.
personality different at all with no memory of her sister? It's not supposed to be her though. Oh. Do you think we'll follow her in, like her POV?
We have a visual representation of when somebody's accepted. That's good to know in the future. Damn!
Is he gonna light up?
I didn't think he'd go in this episode. Why'd the light go out?
It was supposed to be him. He's supposed to go in with her or something.
You need to face your own past.
He's home.
Holy
All his figures have white
shit.
hair. All of his
Oh.
Holy shit. His parents are in the opening of this season.
Okay, that was ReZero Season 2, Episode 3. I am so into this, man. I feel like you couldn't have this without Season 1, but, like, I am extremely interested in this type of lore and vibe. I think it really suits itself to this show and the environment and the characters involved.
I think that this might have been, I don't know how it was, but at least how I'm looking back at myself from during the episode, maybe a really bad reaction on my end, because my brain
It was a lot of
like
information.
frying, and it was like trying to connect everything and trying to understand the significance of the interaction that we had at the very beginning. The glimpses of the silhouettes, you know what I'm talking about. I know we're gonna go into it because there wasn't enough time to write down everything that we were given.
Yeah.
But I feel like I probably, at least I felt like I was staring open-mouthed at the screen without saying or even really thinking any concrete thoughts other than trying to make sense of what is being told to me and what it means for the story.
Yeah.
And actually process and understand that information. And I'm still having like a little bit, my brain is like on the fritz a little bit.
Yeah. So like in terms of trying to understand a few pieces of information, when did we get the information of what Subaru gained by defeating Sloth? Was that before or after the witches' names?
Okay, I think
I just
found
pulled it up.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was after.
Witch factor.
In the past few days, you killed the one who possessed the sloth witch factor, correct? When he died, the witch factor chose you as its new dwelling. Okay, cool. Just wanted to get figure out where that was before we started.
It fits with when we met Sloth. Once you killed Betelgeuse, that like Betelgeuse was then transferred to someone else. I guess it's like similar that this like sloth factor, what does that even mean? Like, is it a power? How do you utilize it? Like, what actually is the definition of the sloth witch factor? Do you possess some of the traits or some of the magic of the Witch of Sloth?
It could be like an ability of the unseen hand that he now has obtained, right, or some type of transference ability like Betelgeuse had. I'm not sure.
Do we have to collect all of the witch factors?
Maybe.
That sounds fun.
But since it was pretty early on, I would love to go through the witches. Okay, wait. Even before then, what am I doing? Echidna is my witch. Like, whereas Subaru is like, I could never even consider you beautiful because of the peak of beauty that I know being Amelia. I'm like, I respect you, dude, and like that's its own right and lane. But for me, like as a person personally, Echidna's mine. At the moment,
I feel like I feel like it's a little soon to decide which is your fave.
I just have it's something. There's a feeing. There's a feeling. I want to go to a tea party.
I liked that the personality had like
fluid. Sorry, go on.
I liked that the personality had a bit of Amelia in it. Like when she gets flustered when he's like, no, okay, bye, I don't have any questions for you. And she's like, wait.
Yeah. Like it was because like it was something that she's never seen. People like travel the world trying to have the privilege of asking her a question. And it was just so far the other way, you know?
They want the knowledge.
Okay. So how I want to do this is I would like to hit play when we are first learning about the first witch of the bunch, which is Gluttony. And if you would do me the honor of reading the subtitles out loud while I write down the witch and their pertinent, you know. Okay, cool. Sin. So start whenever you can.
About the Witch of Gluttony, Daphne, who created beasts that defied the will of God to save the world from starvation. The Witch of Lust, Carmilla, who granted emotions to non-human beings in an attempt to fill the world with love. About the Witch of Wrath, Minerva, who struck people to heal them as she lamented the state of her war-torn world.
Whoa.
The Witch of Sloth, Sekhmet, who drove a dragon past the great waterfall just for a chance to rest.
Whoa.
About the Witch of Pride, Typhoon, who out of youthful innocence and cruelty judged criminals one after another. The Witch of Greed, Echidna, the embodiment of the thirst for knowledge, who has done things she regrets, even in the realm of death, all in pursuit of all types of knowledge.
Oh my god.
The Witch of Envy, who killed all of the other witches and used them as sustenance while she made the whole world her enemy.
The most detestable of them all. Okay, now, I have them written down, but I would now like to see the silhouettes, right, and focus on them. And really talk about what they're meaning here. Daphne, who created Beast Defied, God save and survey. I love
Like
the
pigtails.
hair from Daphne. At a certain point, we're gonna see them all, right?
So what's really interesting about Daphne created beasts defying the will of God. So she is becoming the creator, therefore defying the will of God in order to save the world from starvation.
The world, through God's creation, was at a point where it would end up in starvation, and Daphne created beasts to revert that.
And she is
or
gluttony,
to divert the course,
because her focus was on feeding.
I'd assume so. Next, we have Carmilla, Lust, who granted emotions to non-humans being in an attempt to fill the world with love. We don't get a lot of Carmilla.
Which is, if we go with like thinking about non-human, where we are is a bunch of half.
Yeah.
We have half elves, so there's some non-human in this world that are feeling of love. Would Amelia count in that?
Maybe. The Witch of Wrath, Minerva, struck people to heal them as she lamented the state of her war-torn world. Like, the way that they're described, it almost feels like all of the witches existed at different points in time. Like, because of, like, how... I don't know, maybe they're all in different worlds. Maybe, like, but then you get the, later on, the confirmation of killing the other witches. That would assume that they're in the same world.
Well, I don't know, because Subaru was brought from another world, so
maybe the ability to travel between worlds and killing the witches. The Witch of Sloth, Sekhmet, who drove a dragon past the great waterfall just for a chance to rest. This is going to be my number 2 witch. I'm making the guess there.
You like sleep?
I love the idea that they drove a dragon past the great waterfall just for a chance to rest. Yeah, I love that. So that's my number 2 so far. Witch of Pride, Typhoon. Typhoon seems pretty sick.
That's very childlike in nature. Out of youthful innocence and cruelty, judged criminals one after another. Interesting, dichotomy between youthful innocence and then cruelty.
Witch of Greed, Echidna. Again, I wasn't 100% sure that this was the line that was pertaining to Echidna when at the start of this discussion I even exclaimed that she was my witch. This just goes to solidify it and prove that I'm right. The embodiment of the thirst for knowledge. Look at her face. Oh my god. Who has done things that she regrets, even in the realm of death. In the realm of death, like after death. All in pursuit of all types of knowledge. Oh my god, Anna. The Witch of Envy, who killed all the other witches and used them as sustenance while she made the whole world her enemy. Used them as sustenance.
It fits with envy. Are you envious of all of their powers, all of their abilities, any support? Some of these witches sound like originally they would have had support of the people and love from the people, which is a really nice relationship to show with the Amelia scene that we get with the villagers in this episode.
Yeah.
That what she wants is their friendship. The Witch of Envy robbed Amelia of having humans or other people of this world view her in that way.
Yeah. It's also the only witch we don't get a silhouette or figure from in the vein of Echidna's like monologue. This is
Mhm.
we only get a visual from Subaru's memory, which I think is
Mhm.
really interesting. Um, do you have a favorite from just like I guess vagueness? God,
Probably gluttony because I liked that it was pigtails,
that's fair.
and I like pigtails.
That's
So
honestly all the reason you need.
yeah, pigtails.
Um, God, I love Echidna, man. I feel
The
like I could.
design's really good.
I
So she fed him this so that they could talk longer, but also it had an effect on his witch factor.
People who are compatible have an effect easier. The tea that you drank, I used
Use
the
the
sloth
sloth
witch
witch
factor
factor
on
on
it
it to
to
strengthen
strengthen your
your
resistance.
resistance.
Now you and I can talk at leisure.
Resistance to what?
So, what would you like to ask me? Like, I guess from like, it's able to keep him here like steadily enough that it will grant him more time for questions. And then he's like, nah, thanks, but no thanks, you know?
Like she has gives this impression that other people come to meet her here, and she says, "Oh, that hit you like faster," or something like that. So
Yeah,
she must feed this to people that wander into her soul realm, into her graveyard.
I find your existence quite desirable. I'm a bit embarrassed, really. Like, so why I asked mainly of does time pass in the physical world while Subaru is at this witch's tea party is like partly okay as a character in this world. If it doesn't, you'd be pretty stupid not to take this opportunity
Right,
too.
I know. I was a little bit
But
frustrated at Subaru
but
for
it's
that.
the not knowing. Like Subaru wouldn't know if it does or doesn't. So of course his mindset would be, okay, I need to get back to Amelia just in case it does take up time and something while I'm at this tea party is currently happening to Amelia that I can't be there to stop.
Okay, so if you didn't have the ability to return by death, would you have risked an opportunity like this? Because I think that I would have sat down and asked some questions. But Subaru almost has this really kind of sick, unfortunate, like back pocket things went wrong weapon.
I think you're taking the human element out of it.
Mm.
Regardless of
I
how
know
many
that
times I
he
see
doesn't
you
want
die,
anything.
I would
Right.
never want to experience that
But
again.
if you could protect the person you're trying to protect even more so from harm's way and not have to see them suffer
The next time around, you mean?
yeah. Well, how do you it 1 minute, come on.
A lot can happen in 1 minute.
But also you could learn about something that could happen 10 hours from now and then save her life.
Okay, why not try to go save her now? Make sure that she doesn't die in front of you. Worst case scenario, she does. Kill yourself, start over, ask questions.
But would you really be that panicked that she was about to die if you know she's in the carriage with Otto and that you're the one in the weird place?
Love.
Yeah.
Okay, but so I like I'm defending. I see the reason why Subaru would leave immediately. I wouldn't. Great. I'm not saying if I was in Subaru's body, I wouldn't, but me selfishly, I wouldn't want to. I would sit down and say, I have no questions. How do you tell me about your day, Echidna? Can I ask about you?
I would stay for both selfish and unselfish reasons because I feel like wanting to know more and unlock more knowledge about how and what you can use to protect people in the future can both be selfish and selfless.
I think
I would want to ask some questions. I would want to better understand the witch factors. I would want to better understand who our enemies currently are because we know of gluttony and greed. Ask about saving Rem. Like, come on. There's so many things we could be asking
like
this
if you
knowledge.
were Subaru, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. Well, what if you weren't Subaru? If you had this like opportunity, what questions would you ask somebody like this?
Oh, that had like unlimited knowledge.
Yeah. So like so just to give you a second to think about it, my answers would be absolutely nothing if very little to deal with my own personal life or my relationships. I would primarily want to ask about like historical events, the truth behind them, how they really played out, what aliens look like,
Right.
are ghosts real, is what's the fourth dimension? Like, I'd ask very, like, I wouldn't ask, like, it's even a question if she has knowledge about, like, current goings on. Like, you couldn't ask, it's not like a Shenron where you could be like, how does this person feel about me, right? This is knowledge that she obtained, I'm imagining, through, like,
different means.
Yeah, but when you say all knowledge, it kind of encompasses this idea that's fun to play with, that you could ask somebody
That
anything.
She might be all-knowing.
Yeah, so if under the probably incorrect umbrella of that she's all-knowing, what would you ask her?
Okay, I don't really have... I think I would want to do more small talky questions and nothing really about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be really freaky to know anything about myself. And if she was like, you're gonna die in an hour, I don't even know if I'd want to know that.
Yeah.
So I think I would more so want to know, like, mysteries of the world and where to get the best food. Are aliens real and are ghosts real? You know, like, just more like fun, interesting unknowns that are out there in the world that she might have knowledge that could just make my life a little more interesting. Like, honestly, I don't think I'd want to know how someone feels about me because I'm already anxious enough about how people feel about me.
I have a good selfish one, though.
Oh, what?
Like, if you're in front of Echidna and you can ask anything, what is the next sentence I need to say to make you fall in love with me? That's a good one, you know?
Yeah.
So, talking about vows, right? I had
vows. You're such a romance talk right now.
I had such a misconception over what this vow meant in the context that it was used for. On my first watching of it, I'll try to click around so I can bring it up. On my first watching of this, my understanding of what this vow was the thought that he was unable to tell anybody about the specifics of what happened at the tea party. Not that at all that he was lacking the memory going forward and the clarity of that understanding. And I could be wrong, but the rest of the episode definitely led me to believe that, like, coming out of this, he had no recollection of
100%.
it. Which leads me to a theory. Number one, has Subaru made a vow with Satella and cannot remember it? It, I think, is very interesting to bring up that idea, pairing it with the fact that Echidna's vow with Subaru leads to the ability, or leads to the result of him incapable of remembering the scenario, but granting him an ability and or access to this trial. Whereas if he was to make some sort of vow with Satella, he wouldn't remember it, but he would be gaining something, as in an ability, like return by death, you know?
Is that how he got here? Is
Maybe.
that why he's here and why he has the abilities that he has? Did he make a vow for the situation he's in? Like, for the longest time, we've only had to operate under he was randomly chosen from this other world and then picked and brought in here. His personality has worked out for him in this world. His personality has worked out, and his resolve have worked out for him in terms of, like, whatever the goals are possibly of Satella in helping Amelia. So was it not just so random that he was picked? Was it something that he had agreed to at some point?
I don't know.
It's a really great question to bring up with, like, that we're literally seeing him not remember something that the language had nothing to do with him not remembering.
Yeah. And, like, obviously that connection to the, to Satella that we can't really explain right now. But,
speaking of people with connections.
Oh my god, great segue. Roswell, right?
The Mathers family and Echidna.
And he was very, like, respectful of the name.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Yeah, when you speak of her,
she's
use
not
the name.
Evil.
Yeah.
He was, like, very clear that using Witch of Greed makes her sound so evil. And so he doesn't view her as evil.
It's interesting because, like, they say that they've been acquainted for a long time, right? And then they make it a point to tell us that Roswell is not mixed blood based off of the conversation
Mhm.
later. But in telling us that he isn't mixed blood doesn't necessarily tell me that there isn't a possibility that him and Echidna are related in some aspect.
I want to give a character into this discussion. I want to insert them.
Uh-huh.
Betty's library.
Yeah.
Betty has a lot of knowledge. Betty's weird about coming here.
True.
Or witches.
And which person in particular was
Does-
Betty weird
does-
about?
Which person was Betty particularly weird about?
Greed. Like
Greed.
in terms of last episode, like remember like his like the using Betelgeuse's name as like a shortened version, left me behind, her knowledge with libraries, the witches of Greed's knowledge of so many things. There's definitely like some parallels, whether they're
and
like,
Betty, and to have the Mathers family and the graveyard of Echidna be in their domain, in their,
yeah,
you know, that they have had a long relationship with her. Betty has an agreement and a pact with Roswell to live in the mansion,
which is a connection with Echidna.
Yes.
What if this is Echidna's library that Betty's in?
Interesting.
That would be fucking crazy, dude.
I need more clarification on the witch factors.
Yeah.
Because she said she gave Subaru some of it, so I can't think of it as something that like one person can possess. It sounds more like bits and pieces can be given off into other people. Because if there is an actual sin of greed right now, walking the street, we met him, he was with gluttony. But then we can be fed some of the sloth witch factor, but then now the sloth witch factor also is already in Subaru now that Betelgeuse is gone. It sounds more like this breakable, like the pieces of it can go and fall wherever they may fall.
Yeah.
The witches can hold on to pieces of it and then choose to give.
I think a couple minutes ago when I was referring to Betelgeuse, I accidentally said greed instead of sloth.
You did, but I understood.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm so sorry. I should have said something.
Yeah, just out of clarifying.
I was just like flowing and trying to understand what you were saying. I wasn't even thinking about clearing anything up.
Yeah.
But
just like as my point. Greed. Yeah, because Betty with Betelgeuse, that connection with sloth connecting to, you know.
Mm-hmm. But honestly, it connects Betty and Subaru more because now we know that Subaru is the new geese.
Dude,
your friend has been reborn, Betty.
I am so happy that they ended the episode with Subaru like taking steps into the trial, because I had no idea how they were going to play it out of him discovering he was going to be capable of doing so.
I know you literally said right before he ran in there, "Oh, I'm so glad that there's like a visual representation that you're allowed to do the trial." And then when the light went off, I was like, oh no.
Dude, I have no fucking clue of what's in store going forward. All I know is that I love Subaru's dad. I love him.
His parents are in the opening. This should not... The idea that I think we might have possibly said it quickly for like 5 seconds, didn't pay it much attention. Oh, when we saw the intro for the first time. Oh, what if we go back?
Yeah.
You know, like what if that happens? What would we do then? Shoot, he has to confront his past.
You made a really good observation of all the figures having white hair. Yeah. One of the last things I want to say is like, one thing that I'm not going to let like leave my mind is the lack of Puck right now and what that means. Mm-hmm. You know?
There's a few things it could mean for
sure.
Know.
I just don't. I'm kind of like on the edge of my seat in terms of the information that we're getting.
Right. I don't think my brain has recovered from what I said when we first started talking. I still feel like it's rather fried, so I apologize if it comes off as fried. Mm-hmm. I think that adding in all these other witches, have them having the same names as the Sin archbishops that we've been meeting, this idea of a witch factor, but not necessarily knowing how that works and what it actually is.
Yep.
And also Subaru's trying to understand Subaru's significance in this whole thing and any type of theorizing that comes with that about vows. My brain does not feel any sense of clarity in it at the moment.
I'll just say a couple things just to like clarify in terms of you and I and understanding. Also acknowledging a character, Garf. His voice actor did sound familiar. It kind of sounded like Bakugo's.
I was
I don't know
between
though.
like it's not a Nosuke, but
I don't
there's
know.
an energy to it that's similar to Bakugo
I
or
thought-
Nosuke.
I thought that the idea to give us like a power scale of him in terms of the carriage earlier was incredibly smart when it came around to him not being able to pass the trial, which makes me think that the feat of strength isn't necessarily a physical one. I think
Well, if anyone's mentally or emotionally strong, it's Subaru.
And just to clarify with you, it seems as if all of the humans could leave if they wanted or have the ability to, but the people who are incapable of leaving are keeping them there
hostage,
so that the barrier will be broken so that they can finally leave.
Right. You know, they were probably hoping that Emilia came because in their mind, they would think that someone like that, who people believe is possibly synonymous with Satella, could be the one that would break it.
Also, that scene with Emilia and like the village elder and everything.
I wrote down that you are not a witch beyond our comprehension.
Oh,
I really liked that.
I loved the whole scene. I got emotional. I almost cried. I kind of cried.
I got teary. I definitely got teary at least once in this episode.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I just need to continue watching so that I can understand things. I didn't feel like there was season 1, I didn't feel like there was anything that I struggled too hard to feel like I was grasping or understanding. I feel like they explained visually.
Yeah.
The explanation of Subaru's ability to return by death.
Yeah.
I think they have really put in these little lovely information nuggets about Satella and learning more about how the world views Emilia. And this is the first time I feel like that was a lot of information, but who did it come from? The literal like witch of knowledge herself. Of course she's gonna drop a bunch of knowledge on us and my mind is gonna be like, whoa, that's a lot at once.
Yeah, it was. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.